Yo, what's good, gamers? My name is Dr. Ryan Terao PsychSensei, and I hope you enjoy this little teaser from an AMA session I did with the Voltaic Discord community. But before we get to all that teasing, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to share this video so you can pay it forward and help our gaming community get closer to reaching their final form. Also, if you never want to miss your sensei's wise words, make sure you follow me on Twitter at psych_sensei or check out my website, psychsensei.com. And lastly, join my Discord channel so we can continue this conversation and you'll never miss a beat. Lastly, if you like this little teaser, make sure you visit my YouTube channel to check out the full episode. And remember, gamers, stronger mental wins. As this entire topic as emotional dysregulation, right? When you're stressed out, you're anxious, you're worried, you're tilted, you're angry, any of these things, right? When your emotions kind of take over your cognition. The first step is, again, awareness that it's happening. And the second step, like you're saying, is to create that space, right? So how can we find those moments of peace? How can we create that space where you can access your higher level of thinking a little bit more clearly? For some people, so my suggestion is take a break, dude. Like, walk it back, just calm down a little bit so you're in that settled space so you can have a clearer mind so you can proceed and think more clearly and use your strategy and what have you. So some people are different. Some people use different techniques to calm down. Breathing, removing yourself, all of these things works, but it definitely just depends on what works for you. And then I think the second piece of what you're saying of like actually seeing cognitively of where these things are coming from, how real are they? I noticed that you said that you like to journal, which I really like. And then even in your journal processing, something you can do is even ask yourself, where is this coming from? How real is this? How is this helping me? Do I like this? What are some things that might be useful for me to try to kind of walk myself back? So even going through that thought process and testing yourself, that's something that you can do. But yeah, I think that it's really important that you find what works for you. And yeah, if you want to get a therapist or a counselor to kind of see that deeper thing of that health anxiety of how am I feeling, because I can only imagine if you're focusing on your body or do I feel sick or I'm okay, and that's taking cognitive load away from you being able to focus on what you need to do in game. Well, if when you do, or if you do, when you do, they're two different games. Okay, that's what I like to start with, telling off all my players or people that I work with when they start getting tilted, especially at solo queue. It's like you're not playing a team game. You're playing a version of the game that's kind of like the game, but it's not the competitive version of the game. Sure, when you play solo queue, it is competitive, but it's not the game. Like I said, it's a different version. So understanding that in general and then catering what you're trying to get out of that experience, matching your intentions with the game's intentions might be the first step. Because once you understand that you're playing a little bit differently, you might have to play a little more selfishly or what have you, or just cater your play to the mode in which you need to. I mean, that might help the mental, just step one. The second step, I think, is understanding, yes, you can control what you can control and you can't control what you can't control. So it seems like to me, when you're talking about your role at DPS, you understand what your role is, what you're supposed to be doing, and how you can play that role optimally. At the same time, yes, it feels bad if your team isn't doing what they're supposed to or not fulfilling their role. At the same time, I'm guessing, and this is my hypothesis of you, and you can let me know how accurate this is, and we can kind of go from there. But my guess would be that when you go into these games and you have this attitude of, man, if I only did this more, you beat yourself up, and like you said, your play probably goes down from there because if onlys and you're thinking about past plays or something. How accurate is that hypothesis?
That's pretty accurate. I find myself struggling to reset and focus on the next team fight that's occurring.
Absolutely. So going back to that thing I was talking about with anxiety being future focused and the should could would have, that depression flavor feeling like past focused, even for you especially, it's going to be, how can we stay in this moment? How can we say, all right, I did this, I did everything I could, I tried to hit that shot, I was the only one left, or I didn't have a tank, or they had just like four tanks or three tanks and they're just on me the entire game. Okay, It is what it is. That was that game. This is how I'm going to change my play for the next one. It's having that like short term memory, or even trying to bring yourself more to the present in what is happening in this game right here, right now. Because, like you've noticed, if we focus too much on the past, we think about what my teammates could have done, or even what I could have done better or hit that shot, we're no longer playing this present game. And then if we don't focus on the present and we focus on the past, it begins to spiral and we get into this bad loop, right? Of this hard mental, there's more negative mental. So I think maybe those three suggestions might help you with focusing on the present, understanding what you can control and focusing on that. And I mean, maybe even holding people accountable for what they could be, should be doing, right? Versus yourself, because especially if you know what you're doing. And then the third one being understanding that you're playing solo queue and taking solo queue for what solo queue is. Sometimes it's not always coordinated. And at the same time, focusing on the specific skills that you are trying to get out of this game or this experience so you can learn that thing to copy it and be consistent in the future so you can continue to climb. That's separate from your teammates. How's that sound? Gamer Diet asked, what are your thoughts on meditation? How do you deal with tilt in the middle of the game when you still need to perform for the remainder? Okay, a two-part question. So, meditation, mindfulness. I have my own 2 cents on the entire thing, but I'll save that for another talk. I think it's useful. Here's the thing, though. I think meditation and mindfulness and breathing, all these techniques are just as useful as taking a shower. They only work when you do them. Right? So this is not a thing that's like, oh, I think this is really cool. I'm going to breathe right now. Sure, you can use that and it is effective. However, what makes it more effective is if you incorporate this thing into your practice. We want to make this thing a practice. Like I said, only like a shower, you can shower once a week and you'll be clean for a day. But if you don't shower every day, you're still going to be the stinky kid, right? So if you want to incorporate breathing and meditation, incorporate it before the game. Be consistent in it. Incorporate it in the middle of between sets if you want, taking 10 deep breaths, what have you. Incorporate it afterwards if you want a nice wind down, or when you wake up or something. But it's a practice. Mindfulness is a practice. So is it effective? Yes, because it will calm your bodies down. There are so many studies that show how breathing can affect your body and your relaxation and all these types of things. It can calm your thoughts. But again, if you don't practice it, it's going to be more challenging. And oftentimes that's what happens when I talk to players about it. They say, oh yeah, I've tried it once and it didn't work. And it's like, okay, well, you literally did it once. Of course it's not going to work. So instead, if you really want to use this technique, incorporate it in part of your routine. Try it out. There's a lot of different mindfulness techniques, different apps. I think Calm was one that we used a lot at USC with the students. And if not, there's box breathing, where you can breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold again for 4 seconds. And the way you can breathe in is you want to smell through your nose, like you're smelling roses, right? Because it's beautiful. And then when you breathe out, it's not right? Instead, it's like you're blowing out birthday candles, because life's a party, baby. So in like flowers, out like candles, and slow, right? That's the key. Because again, with anxiety, when things get really quick, we want to try to find ways to slow our body down, find ways to slow our mind down. Okay, and the second part is, how do you deal with tilt in the middle of the game when you need to perform for the remainder? Well, the thing with tilt is like, tilt is typically caused, and if you want to come to my AMA tomorrow when I'm hosting a Twitter space, I'll be going over this again, because that's where it seems the poll is going. But the fun fact is, typically tilt comes from 2 places, right? First place is frustration. Second, frustration and fatigue, I'd say they're the 2 Fs, and the second is boredom, right? So I'm guessing that if you're in the middle of the game and getting this way, I'm saying you're frustrated or you're tired, right? And if you're tired, I'm sorry, like the best way to get untired is to stop, or at least have rested before the game, so you have enough cognitive facilities and energies to play the game at your highest level. If you're frustrated, okay, let's talk about it. There's, a lot of in the moments, reframing, letting go, is the breathing again. But why are you frustrated? Who are you frustrated at? If you're in a team game, is there ways that you can express your frustration or with your teammates in a healthy way? Hey, look, it's really mad. I get really upset when I try to tell you to do this thing, you don't do it, and we're died. I get really upset when I told you to peek this corner, you didn't, and we died. Next time, can you do what I say, or tell me if you're gonna come or not, right? So it could be a communication thing. It could be, okay, I need to do this better. It could be a stop beating myself up in the middle of the game. It could be okay, I need to pay attention to these things. So with tilt, why are you getting tilted? Who is this tilt directed at? And how can we bring ourselves back into the present moment to make those adjustments to play better in the future? Because again, our goal in the middle of the game is kind of having that short-term memory of what can we do to come back to the present so we can make better decisions moving forward. Again, if it's in the past, we can't do anything about the past. It's over. And if we continue to linger in the past or things that are irritating us in the past, then again, we're stuck there. We're not moving here or forward to the next game. And whether we like it or not, like life, there's be a next game and we have to pick it up and keep going. And then afterwards, after the game, during our VOD review session or on our own, then we can review the past and see what we can take away. But if we do that in the 5 minutes between sets, we're kind of screwed for the next game. Yeah, 100%. Some things that I'll pick out for you that you said is, one, it's setting that intention, right? I think it's really cool that you found not only the intention, but you linked the intention with an external like factor to help remind you, and that was Zen music. So when I put my Zen music on, that's my external. When I hear this like Zen music come on, I'm going to be more Zen, or I'm going to remember to calm down. So you have that, that would be like an audible sticky note for you. For example, if you have playing that music and this music means be calm, it's just the same thing as I'm going to break someone's shield or focus on what's the next step of this fight. Put that post-it note on. That's really cool. Other thing that you said in the psychological terms is the zone of proximal development, right? So it being that zone of baby stepping and not overstepping, of trying to do a harder skill or something out of your reach or that's just more challenging right now, and really making sure that what you're trying to learn is within your current skill range. The school example of that would be, if you're anything like me, man, and like you have a project or you say like, oh, I'm gonna write X number of pages today from my paper, and you say, okay, I'm gonna write 5 pages, and things happen, you procrastinate, it's like you don't get it done, or you write a single page, right? Studies have shown that people who say, okay, instead of writing 5 pages, bro, I'm gonna write 10 pages, versus, okay, I didn't write 5 pages, I'm gonna write 1 page today. Studies have found that if you double down on the thing that you didn't do, the chances of you not doing it are astronomically higher than if you just halved your goal. So instead of reading, 10 pages, you read 2, you read 1. And also that the good feelings of your accomplishing is going to push you forward. You starting is going to push you forward, because oftentimes when people double down, they just, it gets too big, it's too daunting, and they just don't do anything. So I think you hammered in a couple of good points, and also making sure that you have the basic building blocks of rest, food, shelter, all these kinds of things put in place so you can focus on higher level things. Yes. Okay, as you continue talking, the perception that I have of you, and you can correct me, is exactly what you're saying. You're probably very smart. Your processing speed is probably very high. Your ability to learn things is probably really quick. And probably from that extension, you applying what you've learned or saw, it probably is very, quick too, and probably accurate and off the clip very good. I think this is maybe one of the, like, again, you're saying, I think students, I've worked with students who kind of did the same thing. They've gone through high school and everything was easy. They need to study, and then as soon as they get to college and they want to do pre-med, and they're taking this biochemistry like weeder courses at the same time, they're like, oh, they have an identity crisis. Oh my God, who am I? I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Everything was easy, but now things are challenging and hard. Who am I? And for you, it's that kind of, I have the same kind of vibe where it's like I was good at math, or everyone thinks I'm so smart, or I'm really good at this game. But then we've hit this challenge, we hit this rock, we hit this wall. And now you're questioning, am I talented? Am I good enough? Am I, do I have the skills to do these things? And the answer of it, of course, is yes, because like you've said, like I'm willing to put the time and effort in, which is great. I'm glad that you're willing to sacrifice the time. I think what we need to insert is your intention. Intention, and when I say intention, it's not the intention of you playing and putting in the time of grinding and the mechanics. I'm saying the intention of what you're actually trying to learn. And the reason I'm trying to reinforce this is once we be intentional in learning and have the and see our progress of what we're learning and how we can apply it, these new skills, your confidence is going to be based on something that you can see versus just your talent. Because if it's just your talent, then it's like, oh no, am I talented or not? That's like a God-given thing, right? I'm 6'5", I'm 6 feet, that's a thing. I was born with this thing. But what you're talking about in esports, and if you really want to get good, we're talking about skills. And everything in esports can be learned. Sure, some people are more mechanically gifted than others. I'm not saying that. There is just mechanical freaks out there. At the same time, what esports is the great equalizer. And for my experience, the most successful esporters are the people that can think the best, who are the most creative, who can understand concepts, who can learn how to learn and then apply what they've learned consistently. Those people, and also being not a dick into your teammates and being able to talk to people, those qualities outweigh mechanics at the pro level, at the higher ends. So for you, that's what I'm suggesting, being intentional in what you're learning so you can base your confidence on something that you're seeing than just your talent.